So I just spoke to Geordo this morning, and apparently he's working on his old Mitsubishi, doing a bit of maintenance on it. I haven't been in this car, I haven't been for a ride in it in at least 3 or 4 years. So we'll go over there and maybe give him a hand, and if we're lucky we might get a ride in the old thing.
Been a while since I've seen this Nugget. What are you doing to it?
The old Lancer needs a bit of maintenance, belts, hoses, a few electrical gremlins and other things. Hasn't been used much in 12 months. It's ridiculous, I've got to start driving it more. It's no point sitting in the garage.
What do you got there?
This is a rocker cover gasket.
When did you buy that? 2005?
It's gonna, I don't know, it's pretty funny. I don't know what the date of, Jesus, what's the date of this? 2011, December 15.
And you still haven't put it on?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, rocker cover gasket, EVO. Good.
Quality 90s Mitsubishi paint. The old 4G63. So you just done the belts?
Yeah, they're a shocker. They're trying to get your hands down here to do 3 belts. It's not fun. They're done.
So how long have you owned this for?
About 10 years. I bought it from Canberra. It's an Australian delivered GSR, so it's not an EVO. It looks like an EVO 2, I guess, but we'll get into that a bit later. I bought it, as you see it here, with a 2-litre in it. TEIN coilovers, typical exhaust. It had big cams in the engine. It had 272 cams, which were pretty awful to drive actually. It hunted a lot. Needed more vacuum down low, and it wasn't great to drive. It had a link ECU in it that was a really, really old one. Bit hard to tune. Had the boost controller for low, high boost, all this kind of stuff it was kind of from the 90s, I guess. It had some 17-inch wheels, which I didn't like either. But the car was, for what it had a 2-litre conversion, and it had all been done quite well, the proper mounts. Like I said, it had the suspension. It had some money spent on it, but not, I guess every time you buy a car, you want to personalise it how you want it. It had an engineer certificate from Canberra, so it had to be engineered, because I brought it down to Victoria, the car had to be engineered with the 2-litre in it. So if you don't know what these cars were, I think they were between 93 and 95. Mitsubishi brought them in for about 3 years. They were a 1.8 litre, so they were 4G93, whereas this is a 4G63. So this gearbox, in fact this is a 2-litre obviously gone in here, but the gearbox and the drivetrain is 100% what came in the GSR, so it's using the 1.8 gearbox drivetrain. The all-wheel drive system is very crude. The don't even have LSDs in the car, open diffs. There's been occasions where it's been pissing down rain, where if you plant it up a hill in the right conditions, it'll just light the front tyres up. It still shits on a front-wheel drive, don't get me wrong. It handles pretty good. Big advantage with these cars, I guess over modern cars, is just sheer weight. When they came out with the 1.8, they're only, I think, 1,180 kilograms. The equivalent EVO with the 2-litre is about 1,240, which I reckon this is about that weight. I've never weighed it, but I can't see this car weighing more than about 1,250 kilograms. That's approaching 400 kilograms less than some of these modern all-wheel drives. So think about how much less power you need in the car to make it keep up with a modern car. You don't need a lot. So this is a 2-litre out of an RVR. An RVR was, I guess, kind of like a performance little family van, oddball car out of Japan. You see a handful of them in Australia. It's probably, I'm not sure if they were sold in the US. So it's an RVR motor, which is essentially the same as an EVO 1 engine. It's got an EVO3 turbo on it. I've changed the ECU to a Vipec plug and play. I got the Vipec when they were pretty much brand new, and at the same time I had the cams pulled out, and it's got stock EVO3 cams, which I think are the more aggressive of the early gen EVO cams. It must have picked up 30 kilowatts down low. It was a completely different car to drive, but it did lose a fair bit of top end. When I bought it, it was on 18 pounds, made I think 189 at the wheels, kilowatts. I think at the moment it would make probably no more than about 170, but it's a much better power band to drive. At 189 when I bought it, I ran the car. I don't think I got it retuned. I was pretty sure it was exactly the same as how I bought it. It ran a 1343, I think, at 106. Definitely could have got a lower ET. I wasn't overly hard on the launch, being a few hours out of Melbourne, but yeah, look, it went okay for the power. Now it probably makes, I think the last time I had the dyno, which was a long time ago, it made about 170. It had some fuel issues, so they put a bit of timing at a top end. Realistically, it should make about 190. as it's set up at the moment. It's got standard injectors. The only change to the fuel system is a Walbrowen tank, so that's it. So it was kind of running out of fuel. The fuel system is something I definitely want to do and do it properly, so probably potentially make it E85 kind of compatible and do it right. So a lot of people get stuff off eBay, but I don't want fluorescent blue hoses on the car. That's the first thing. Plus, I'd rather stuff like this. I would rather buy genuine parts. Some of this stuff you have to wait a few weeks from Japan, but even though this car technically wasn't sold here, the engine was sold in a VR4 Galant. You can always get the parts for them.
What is it, a TD05?
It's a TD05 16G, but it's an old
Journal bearing?
Yeah, it's pretty ancient. All 9094 spec or whatever it is. How the hell can you lose a tool? This is a EVO 8 blow-off valve, which is a pretty common update. So I think it's the original one would have been plastic, and this is alloy. For general, most applications, they handle a fair bit of boost, I think. About 20 or so. Found the 10mm right in front of me, where else would it be? This car came with a basic brake upgrade, so the GSR brakes are now first gen Evo stuff. So it's got a good set of pads, and surprisingly it brakes pretty well. Once again, because the car doesn't weigh much, I guess you don't need much to pull it up. And the wheels, well, I like the Volk wheels, but I was a total tight ass back then and didn't want to pay for a set of Volks. They're also hard to find in this stud pattern. But anyway, I ended up buying some cheap rims and sprayed them in a Nissan Brown Silver. They're obviously not a forged lightweight wheel, but they suit the car, and look, eventually I might change them, I don't know, but it's not really a priority at the moment with the car. So the stud pattern on these are a 4x114, which I guess is similar, what's the same as, say, early Nissan stuff like S-Series Silvia rear-wheel drive and old Datsuns. None of it would fit it because the offset is completely different. The guards on this car are absolutely tiny. The trailing arms and that get in the way. I mean, these tyres are only 205, so put that in perspective. Most late gen Evos and Imprezas and stuff would be running more like a 235. I've taken it to Winton Raceway a few times for circuit days. One lap, they're okay, and then after that they just go to mush and the car's kind of sliding around a bit. But
how old are these things? RE001s?
Yeah, that shows you how old the car is and how much little K's it's done. So they haven't made these tyres in years. So they're up to RE003s now. So one reason I want to do the fuel system is because when I have run it at the circuit, it has fuel surge pretty bad when, unless I had a full tank of fuel in it, it would surge under heavy acceleration out of a corner, so that's not great.
Mitsubishi Nugget.
Rocker cover gasket set. There's your half moon. The other thing I forgot to say was obviously the car came with a set of cam gears.
Jeez, fair bit of oil there.
Yeah, it looks like oil is actually seeping up through these bolts. Say these seals are completely shagged. It's an absolute mess in here. On top of the gasket that comes around the outside, these rubber O-rings, I guess you'd call them, will get replaced like that. It looks like, I'd say most of the oil is actually pissing out. These are absolutely shot. There's oil everywhere. There's also oil leaking out the back here. The other day I cleaned it off the intake manifold, so it's a bit of a mess at the moment, but we'll sort that out. Yeah, someone's used silicone on that, which is, I don't think what you're supposed to be doing.
There's silicone on the gasket.
There is, you can see it. Well, you can see that's pretty worn. They're also a bit brittle compared to the new ones. I mean, God knows how old these are. Looks like they've had silicone on them. So the interior on these GSRs factory are pretty horrid. The seats are terrible, no support. Because I bought a red Lancer, I only ever wanted the EVO4 interior because it's got the red colour, so it looks like factory interior. Everything from the EVO4 interior bolts straight in. You don't have to make one modification, it all just bolts in. It's so good in that way. Now these are very figure-hugging Recaros. They're not like the late model Evos. If you spend an hour in this car, you want to get out of it big time. But the car's a real go-kart to drive, it handles well. Although it suffers, to be honest, if you try and put the foot down mid-corner, it just really wants to plow understeer. It really needs LSDs, and well, it needs a lot of things, but you know, it's a good little car for what it is, and you got to think it's over 20 years old now too. So the next plan for me for this car is a fuel system, and then from there, I'm not sure. I would really like to get some power to this car, because you won't need much to make it move, being light. It is a bit of a weekend car, so it doesn't faze me if it's a bit rough to drive, and it currently is, and I don't think that's going to improve. But let us know your thoughts on what you'd like to see done with this car. It's a pretty unique car. You don't see many of them on the road anymore.